this first guy who's left a lot of comments on my videos recently, basically about how women don't know what they want and they're all crazy, yada, yada, yada. He left a comment that said, women are strange. You show too much interest and she ghosts you. And then you show too little interest and she ghosts you and moves on because she has endless options for chads, which is a term people use for like, the dudes that are just screw her over and then run for the hills, right? And so I hear this quite frequently about how men think, well, if you show too much interest, she's going to leave you. But then if you show too little interest, then she's not going to be sure that you like her or not. She's going to run for the hills to all these other guys that are going after her. And this is an example of a man thinking that women are viewing dating and acting in the dating world the way that they as a guy would. All right. Because if you think about it, if you're as a guy, if you had a bunch of women just ready at your arsenal, for one, you'd be less anxious in dating because you always had another choice to go to. And number two, you'd have the pick of the litter. You'd have a bevy of options. And so in your head, you're thinking, if I had a bevy of options, yeah, I would probably try to really just bang them all. And I would just go to anyone that I want to. So if this one's acting up, well, I know I can go to this next one and everything be great. Here's the problem is that is the man way of thinking about dating. But how are women actually experiencing dating? And so you're thinking, well, if you don't show her all this attention, she's got a bunch of other chads lined up that she's going to just go ahead and give her attention to. The problem is it doesn't work like that because nature is funny. Nature's made it to where basically as a man, you have to work to a certain status to be able to get the amount of women that you want. And even then, it's nowhere near the amount of attention that women are going to get from men. But because of that, women typically tend to be more selective in who they're going out with. Like, I don't know if you guys have done the experiment on dating apps where you pose as like a really hot woman and then see how many responses you get. I've done that experiment. I did one like a couple of years ago where like that first day, I got 168 messages from guys that were like, hey, hi, what's going on? Oh my God, you're so hot. You're so beautiful, yada, yada, yada. And so even an average woman, like I'm not going to do the stereotype of like, oh, every single woman, even the average woman can get like hundreds of guys. No, let's say an average looking woman, right? She could still have like, we'll say 20 guys coming to her. That's still 20 guys that she has to now think about putting her time, effort, and energy for. And quite honestly, from the women that I've talked to, that gets exhausting. So it's not a reality that a woman's going to try to go after these 20 other chads if you stop showing her little attention. For one, she constantly has attention incoming. But number two, you have to ask yourself, but is that attention from guys that she actually want to date? And more often than not, it's not. So this idea that she's going to be trying to give her attention to all these guys, that is an example of something a guy would do, but that women typically aren't going to do because they're looking to try to make a connection. So they're going to be start judging from, the appearance of the person to how they talk to them, to the vibe that they got. They're going to have all these things on their list that's going to whittle down the number of guys they're going to potentially give attention to. All right. So it's not this whole thing that you think of like, and another thing too, is that guys have it in their head that if you show too little attention, that she's going to move on. This is just maybe my experience. In my experience, it's not about you showing her too little attention. It's about, again, knowing how to be patient and how to pace out your attention. So if you go on a first date with the woman and then you wait like 4 or 5 days before you hit her up again, you're not all up in her ear constantly contacting her. But when you hit her up again, it's enough contact for her to know that you definitely want to go out with her again, which means you have some kind of interest there. If you're the guy that's going to try to show a lot of interest up front by taking her on the date, complimenting her the whole date, and then when the date's over, you go home that night, you're texting her right away, you're texting her for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, I got news for you, guy. If you think that that's the mode of operandi that you should do in order to effectively attract a woman and get her attention, it's not. What's going to happen is she's going to read it as needy, unnecessary behavior, and she's going to pull away from you. So you can be mad all day about how women are operating, but I typically err on the side of this, is that you can be mad at it, or you can just accept the reality of how they date and how they function, and then move accordingly. And to be completely fair, you say that women are strange, but you got to look at like both sexes. Oftentimes, if they don't know how to date the right way, are doing things during the dating process that the other one cannot understand. So let's flip this around, right? You saying that women are strange because they don't like guys that show them too much attention would be like a woman saying, I don't understand why men are so strange. We go on one good date and they're already ready to blow up my phone all the time and try to claim me as wifey when we've only spent an hour and a half together, and that's not enough time to know me. Why does he want to date me so soon? And why does he want to give me the world so suddenly? This seems kind of fishy and suspicious. That's how they're judging us. And that is strange behavior to many women. I've talked to and been out with so many women that have said that about like previous guys they tried to date. It was going great on that first date, and then he got too clingy, too needy. He was trying to, give her the world and wife her up and try to get rid of all the girls he was dating already. And she's like, it's been 90 minutes. How is he making this decision in 90 minutes? Now, as a guy, I know that you can make that decision really quickly, and I tell you all the time, even if you think that's true, you're going to make a decision fast and then find out later down the road that was the wrong decision because you weren't patient, didn't wait. So, but this is how women are viewing it. Women are viewing your behavior as strange. They're viewing your behavior of being able to go on a date and automatically want to be with them and give them the world as really obsessive, needy, possibly anxious attachment style behavior that's not serving you. So all I'm saying is that it's not that you got to show a little attention, but it's saying in the beginning, you pace yourself out. You give them morsels of a good time. You show them the best time you can on a date, you go away. You take them on another date, you go away a little bit. You take them on a third date, you maybe hook up, you make out with them. And then these moments of attention that you're giving her are going to be the correct behaviors that you need to be giving her to cause her to be attracted. Because it's not about giving her all this attention and hoping something sticks. It's about knowing when to make the right moves at the right time, when to be there, when to lay back. And then that back and forth tension is going to allow her to be like, well, do I want more of his attention? I think I do. Wait a minute. Is this too much attention? Let me pull back a bit. And us as guys, we have to know going in what that looks like for them. Because if you don't, you can complain. You can be a guy that just complains all the time about how women are strange and they act really weird and they should just be able to recognize a good guy and yada, yada, yada. But none of that complaining is going to get you what you want. So you can complain or you can know how they actually function and then get the women you want by doing that in a way that's going to be beneficial to both parties.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.